4 dogs are dead after being left in a hot car this afternoon in New Smyrna Beach. Tesia White of Missouri is charged with 4 counts of animal cruelty. According to police, the 25-year-old woman claims she put the windows up and let the air conditioner on. She went down to the restaurant.
State versus Miss White, who's a lawyer on her behalf.
Yes, Your Honor. Roger Foley on her behalf. Good morning, sir.
The state filed 4 counts. There are 4 counts, cruelty to animals. Current counts 1 through 4, plea no contest with full adjudication. Placed on probation for 1 year. Credit mail-in supervision allowed. 40 hours community service. Count 1, waiving on the other counts. There's a fine of 200. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, if I'm looking at this right.
State of Florida versus Tesia White. It's a case I'm never going to forget. Young woman, kind of lived that van life, and she would carry her 4 dogs, Lilo, Hiccup, Brandy, and Dora. They were her everything. They were her emotional support dogs. They were her brothers and sisters. They were her children. And she comes to Florida to visit some friends, and she goes into a restaurant, and because she has traveled with the dogs extensively throughout the United States, she left the dogs in the car with the air conditioning running. She had done it before. The dogs were trained. The back seat was taken out just for the comfort of the dogs. She comes outside about 30 minutes into an hour-long lunch to check on the dogs. They're doing okay. She sees them. She walks out for 2 minutes, looks. She goes back in the restaurant. She goes, okay, everything's good. She comes back out about 20 minutes later, and she finds her dogs lifeless. Because I'm an animal lover, because I value life, when I was first contacted by her family, I said, I need to think about it. I need to pray on it. I need to talk to my wife about it.
My name is Tesia. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Missouri. I'm an animal lover. I love the outdoors. And I took my dogs and I quit my job and we just started traveling. We traveled all over Florida to like some of the different springs. Some of the campgrounds like inland of Florida, and I have a cargo box on the top of my SUV, so it had my tent, my air mattress, everything up there. That was a vehicle I saved and like bought it outright in cash, and I was just really proud of that, so I wanted to take really good care of it. I don't know where to start. I had all my dogs with me. We were planning on taking them to the dog park after. Left them in the car with the AC on, with the car running, like I've done several times, and they love it in the car. They have their whole back seat, area, and there was a mattress back there for them, so I didn't think anything of it. You know, I grew up that way in Missouri. We take our dogs everywhere. But when I was in the restaurant, I just got like a bad feeling. And so I went out like halfway through my meal and checked on them. I walked out to the car and they all jumped up at me. And they looked so happy to see me like they always do. And I saw my boxer, Brandy, her ears were like blowing in the air, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just having this weird feeling for nothing. And I went back inside, and when I came out about a half hour after that, they were all dead.
I guess when I first heard what happened, it was just shock, and you just really can't believe that it's happened. You always think this happened to other people, but not you or someone you love. So I just remember Tesia calling either from jail or before jail and just crying, both about everybody over the phone, because, I mean, first of all, We are all a family of dog lovers. So just even imagining your own dog's dying that way and knowing how much she loves her dogs was just really hard. And I was just crying about the dogs, and then knowing that, you know, all this is happening and reading people saying things about her was really hard to read, because I know she is a good person.
I understand the backlash that the community, that society is the things that they're going to say, the horrific things they're going to say. One of the considerations that I thought about when taking this case is I had a situation with my dog Tyson. I had come home, I was driving a Jeep at the time, and I decided to pull into the backyard. I was going to unload the groceries, and easier to go through the back. After I put the groceries up, store everything in the refrigerator and the freezer, I decided to take a nap. I wake up, it's about 2 hours, 3 hours later, and I call the dogs, and I look for about 15 minutes, and I go, my goodness, he must have jumped over the fence. He must have, I don't know how he got out of the yard. So I go to look for him. I jump in my Jeep, and where do I find Tyson? He's laying in the passenger side, not quite conscious. I mean, very groggy and out of it. I immediately get on the phone with a person that I know is a veterinarian. I explained the situation, and I stood there with him. And then after he cooled down, I kept taking his temperature because I was on the phone with a vet the entire time, and he came to. Now people might say, hey, that's a different story. You didn't even know the dog was in there. The point is that tragedies occur. Fact patterns may differ slightly, but it's the loss of life, the loss of an animal.
I opened the door, I was like, why is the air warm? And I looked back and they weren't moving. And so my friend that was with me at the time, I asked him to call 911 so we could get some help. And I started pulling him out of the car, and there were people around. I was screaming for help, and they came out with water and started dousing them and trying to get them cooled off. And I was certified in CPR, so I started trying to resuscitate them. The people around were so nice, they were helping too. And I tried so hard to resuscitate them, but there was nothing I could do. It was too late. I was too late.
So do I think Tesia White is guilty of a crime? I don't. I absolutely don't. She did leave the dog in the car. The car was running. She had all service records. Every time she went on a trip, she had the car serviced. She checked the oil. And in fact, in the discovery, there were receipts for her taking the vehicle to the dealership, to the Goodyear, to the repair shop. And everything was maintained on the car. How could she have known? In the discovery, we received a report from Honda. A mechanic, a master mechanic with 25 years experience, said that there was a problem with the clutch plate in the air conditioning. And if that's the reason, that's your reasonable doubt, your one doubt. The problem is people sometimes find ways to cast stones, right? To throw stones at other people. And as a criminal defense attorney, my job is to mitigate the risk. It's not an intent crime. People think, well, if she didn't intend to do anything, no, it's not an intent crime. One of the elements of the crime is not that she had a bad mind, that she had a mens rea. The issue is, did she leave the dogs in the car, and did they suffer a horrible death? And was she responsible for their death?
The media painted me as a monster, and because I feel so bad about failing my dogs and failing in protecting them, I felt like a monster at first, and at times I still do. When I close my eyes now and I start to think about them, I see them. I'm their mom, like I'm their protector, I'm their caregiver. They counted on me, they loved me. And I failed them.
I think what people fail to realize often in the criminal justice system is she's going to have to live with this for years. I don't think Tesia will ever leave a dog in a car. Even though there are programs out there, there are heat sticks and temperature sticks, and Waggle has a great product. But there's always risk, right? There's risk in almost everything that we do on a daily basis. Just taking an animal in a vehicle, what if you get in a car accident?
No matter how much you love your dogs and you think that they're safe, they're not always safe. And so taking that extra precaution, especially now that people seeing this may know that they may not have even thought it was something that could happen, like I didn't, I would just ask them not to leave their dogs in a vehicle, ever. And if they absolutely have to, like in some emergency scenario, buy a heat stick and keep it in your car. It's something that I learned about after the fact. And it connects to your phone and it tells you the temperature in your vehicle. Buy one, because it's not that expensive if you love your pet and you would do anything to keep them safe like I would.
It's just you can't really move past it until you get that closure. And so it's been just an emotional roller coaster the last however long it's been for everybody.
We need to look at this person individually. No criminal history, kind, educated, just a solid person. And it troubles me as a defense attorney that I'm even taking the plea, because there's so much a part of me that goes, let me just take it to trial. Let me tell the story. There's no winner here. The state of Florida is not a winner. Does she need to be watched and supervised for a year? No. She's never going to do that again. She's going to be so cognizant. She's going to go out of her way to do everything she can to make sure that those animals are safe. I know that when my career is over, I will remember her name, I remember her facts, and I will continuously pray for her that God comforts her, because she's still in pain, she's still living with this. And regardless of what the criminal justice system does, the pain that she feels because of the loss of her family or of those pets, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is if you have a pet and that pet travels with you, having a mechanism, a temperature stick, a Waggle product, in the car, it will automatically determine the temperature inside your vehicle and make sure that doesn't happen. You're getting up to the second results of what the temperature is in the car. So if you have an animal and you travel, we all travel. Maybe you drive up from Florida to New York for the holidays. You're gonna bring your dog, you gotta stop at a gas station. You can't have your animal at every step. You can't walk into grocery stores. You can't always walk into restaurants. Even if you walk in to pay, it takes a minute. What if there's a line? Why not have one of these products? Why not take an extra step of caution?
I can't imagine any other lawyer being so caring and so genuine and wanting to help me get this message out to protect other animals, so thank you.
As horrible as this loss is, I think it's an opportunity to share the story and alert pet owners